All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to our committee meeting of the whole for Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. We would like to welcome all of our community stakeholders and members of the community to this meeting. And I am now going to call to order the meeting. Can we begin with our salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of
America,
and to
into for which is
one nation.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, I wasn't trying to overspeak.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Could you do the roll call for us, please?
Sure. Ms. Hoff,
Present.
Mr. Wright, is absent. Ms. Richardson, is absent. Ms. Hopkins, absent. Mr. Kong,
Present.
Mr. Callahan, absent. Ms. Cook Henry,
Present.
Ms. Ivory,
Present.
and Ms. Boykins.
Present.
And that concludes roll.
Yes, Miss Richardson is under the weather today. She did give me a call. She won't be in.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. And moving on, we have a special presentation from our state representative, Mrs. Gina Curry. Good evening, Ms. Curry.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the month of January and School Board Appreciation Month, I just wanted to be present at your meeting tonight because I can't be present for the second one, which hopefully you all will be in person. We just, on behalf of my office, we want to thank you all for the hard work that you put in as elected school board directors. We know my own experience, that is not a paid position. That is a position that is a labor of love for your community and those that you serve. I just want to tell you thank you. And my Chief of Staff, Cynthia Isles, is on the line as well. We thank you for all the hard work you do, especially this year, knowing that the state did not necessarily come through on a timely manner with the budget. And I know all of you can feel good that the budget has been passed before the end of 2023, but we are working hard in the next couple of weeks to prepare for budget hearings that are coming up at the end of February after President's Day. So I will make sure that you all have the correct links so that you can listen in, particularly on those days that heavily impact your district and your work. I again wish that we were in person. I do have some special gifts for you from my office that you will receive when you get back in person. But I just, again, think of school board directors close to my heart. School board directors are those who are committed, compassionate, dedicated, and really giving of their time to make sure that their community in education is getting what they need and well deserved. And so I just want to thank each of you tonight and in this month of January, to know that we start off at the top of the year, but that we appreciate you all year long, and that we continue to work together. We will indeed get what we need in the 164th Legislative District for the William Penn School District. So hang on. I know some of you have been on the board for a long time. We are seeing change little by little, but we know change takes time. So thank you, school board directors, for all that you do, and we appreciate you from the Legislative District of the 164th. And thank you for always supporting our office as well. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Representative Curry. We appreciate all that you do and continue to fight the good fight for us. So we greatly appreciate you. We love you, and we look forward to many more, many more fights to get into, for the communities and for our schools. And I'm sure if you read our chat, you will see plenty similar sentiments from others in the chats as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, our next special presentation. I'm sorry, our next presentation for the calendar committee updates for the 2024-2025 school year.
Okay, I will be doing that update. I will share my screen so that everyone can see that. Okay.
Excuse me, Ms. Stewart, before you start, I just want to make sure that we have put the agenda in the chat so that people can get access to the documents that are being presented. And if we have not, can we just make sure that we do that along with your presentation so that people can access it? Thank you.
Mhm.
The deck has not been shared, Dr. B. Coates.
Okay. I'll go ahead. So good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Seward. I'm Executive Director of Student Services. And this evening, I will be sharing with you our draft district-wide calendar for the 24-25 school year. I welcome your feedback and put your math hats on, because there's a lot of math that goes behind creating this lovely calendar. So, all right. So I wanted to share with you the folks who have served on the calendar committee so that you could see the diversity of viewpoints that contributed to our calendar. I also wanted to make you aware of a change. Our school code has been changed by the Pennsylvania legislature, where previously we were required as a district to have a minimum of 180 days of instruction and 900 hours of instruction for elementary and 990 hours for secondary level. That has changed. The and has changed to an or. So districts now have the autonomy to decide whether to meet the minimum 180 or the minimum number of instructional hours, or both. The calendar committee did discuss this new change in the law and, and decided that we would maintain more than the minimum of 180 days and stay vigilant about the minimum number of academic hours. Please note that this calendar has 181 days. However, the district is moving forward with applying for the additional 5 flexible instructional days to account for snow days and emergencies. So this next slide gives you a little bit more context on the flexible instructional days, where you have the ability, each district has the ability to apply for up to 5 flexible instructional days. The application opens on April 1 of this year. The deadline is June 1st. However, we can have the board affirmation form on our agenda for February when we consider the vote for this calendar. Does anybody have any questions about that before I go on? No? Okay, hearing none. Okay, so these are some of the calendar considerations that we must consider when we're creating the calendar. Again, the minimum of 180 days. At 80 days are counted as student days as long as they are certain activities during the time when we are in session with students. And academic time is subtracted when those hours are lost, even though they're counted as a day. Half days are still counted as full days as well, but the system does account for the loss in instructional time. So that is subtracted as well. So here you'll see these are the statistics for the calendar. You will notice that there are 172 actual student days when students are in the building. For our teachers, it's 190. And please note that the teacher contract says that we cannot have more than 192 days. So we're in compliance there. We have 15 Act 80 days, which are in service or PD days. And we have 4 parent-teacher conference days, which are counted as Act 80 days as well. So that equals up to the 190 days for teachers. And so I will actually take you to the calendar now. Is that big enough for everybody to see? Can I get, okay, we're good, thumbs up. Okay, so as you can see in August, we have these 5 days of PD days. And we have Labor Day that falls actually on the 2nd, the first Monday in September in 2024. I can't count these 5 days and this 6 days into the count for PD days that contribute to student days because school is not in session yet. So the first day of school would be the 4th. Now we chose to make these first 3 days half days, learning from our experiences in previous years where it's hot and it's hot in the buildings, and not all of our buildings are air conditioned. Therefore, I accounted for 3 half days so that we will not lose time, and I can account for it elsewhere in the calendar. So it was a little bit of forethought. You'll notice in October, I should note here that one of our committee members has submitted an additional recommendation to not observe Yom Kippur here on the 11th because Yom Kippur actually falls on that Saturday. And even though normally our tradition is to observe a holiday, whether it falls on a weekend, either the first working day or the last working day if it's a Saturday or Monday if it's a Sunday, the suggestion was put forth to switch out and make it Rosh Hashanah. So please, and that would be October 3rd. So please know that the calendar committee will be reconvening to consider that recommendation. So, but I didn't want to make the change outside of that team. And you'll also notice that Indigenous Peoples Day is the 14th. So moving forward, we have 2 parent-teacher days here before the Thanksgiving break here. And you'll also notice that Christmas falls on a Wednesday, and it just made sense not to make people come in on Christmas Eve. And why make folks come in on a Monday? So when you're going to be off that whole week. I also did follow and looked at and studied other districts, their districts' calendars for 24-25, and they also did the same thing. So I would kind of follow suit with other districts as well. January, you'll notice that we built in here two PD days here. And the thought was to give staff a moment to get into the buildings after the long break. And again, common sense, who's coming in on a Friday. We didn't want to impact our attendance and for our students. So we just made those 2 days, Act 80 days in January. Moving forward, we have 2 more parent-teacher days in February and a PD day, and of course, President's Day. In March, we have an Act 80 day as well. Half days are peppered throughout to give the staff and the students a little bit of a break. You'll notice here spring break in April will be the 14th through the 18th. And then we have the contracted Act 80 day here. And then in May, and this is a tentative I wanted to highlight because despite my best efforts trying to find the mid-year election date for 2025, it really hasn't been published. But again, studying other districts' calendars, they all had it at May 20th, and they had tentative after it. So I followed suit after studying other districts. The last day of school for students would be June 17th, giving the teachers an in-service day here. And Juneteenth is the 19th here. So that's the whole calendar. So the whole calendar is 181 days, but again, adding in those 5 flexible instructional days gives us an additional 6 days of cushion for inclement weather and emergencies. Does anybody have any questions?
Ms. Stewart, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you go back to your August calendar, you have the teachers returning back on the week before. And you were saying some of the schools are not properly air conditioned. Are we taking anything into account in terms of maybe, I guess, virtual for those schools that are impacted with the heat? Or are we doing full day, or is it half day to support the teachers so they're not also in the buildings during that weather?
So I have not gotten any more detailed information yet about our PD days. This is traditionally when we do have our school starting PDs. It's always the last week. And the new colleague orientation is always the Thursday and Friday before that week. Normally, we do schedule days and locations that are air conditioned for our PDs, as well as we use our partner organizations like the DCIU as well for large gatherings. Last year, we actually used the East Lansdowne Community Center as well for our leadership PDs. So we do accommodate our staff in different locations to ensure that everyone's comfortable and learning at the same time.
Great, thank you.
Yes, Ms. Hoff.
Thanks, Ms. Stewart. Great job on the calendar. I'd been reading a lot about the expectation that teachers come back after holiday break and, would have had to use their personal time on vacation to get ready for the new year. And I really appreciate looking out, and good job on Yom Kippur, because that would be the normal thought, but I'm glad they brought it to your attention.
Yes, and I would like to also give credit to Dr. B. Coates because he contributed a lot to, choosing like let's give some relief to folks, and that's why we have those 2 days in January, and that was his idea.
That's awesome.
So it was really a collaborative effort. A lot of wonderful voices at the table.
Thank you all.
The other thing that I will, excuse me, just mention is that we would like to most likely, excuse me, approve this in February. So we will leave it out and available for people to provide comments and make adjustments along the way. So board members, just want to put that on your radar. We will be asking you to take action at the meeting in February so that we can finalize our calendar for 2024, 2025.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart, and thank you, Dr. B. Coates, for that update. Next, we're going to have a special presentation for our property committee update by Mr. Kaufman.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I actually have Ryan Orr with us from KCBA to kind of give a walkthrough demonstration, I believe, of the current design that we will be using for the Lansdowne zoning meeting, or with maybe minor detail changes, but overall the design, if approved by the board.
And I would just ask that we make sure that this presentation is also provided to the community so that they can see it. So can we put the link to this in the chat? And if you don't have it, Mr. Orr, I'm going to ask that you send it to Bob so that we can get it into the chat. I know that we've provided this something similar to this previously. I just want to make sure that our community can follow along with us, please.
Sure.
Thank you. And while we are waiting, I just want to, for those of us who are on the Zoom, I see that we don't have many attendees, but I do want to make sure that everyone knows that our schools and offices are closed tomorrow. We have sent out proper notification. Everyone should be aware. That information did go out via Parent Square. We've also did phone calls. And so everyone should be aware that our offices and schools are closed again tomorrow. But we will reopen on Thursday, and we look forward to seeing you and your family and your students on Thursday.
So it should be on its way to you, Bob.
And Mr. Orr, you can proceed. We will make sure that it gets into the chat. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me this evening. As you can see on the screen here, showing the existing Penwood High School, the Green Avenue campus. Green Avenue in the front there, the existing practice field and track to the rear. So this will be the focus of our presentation this evening. So we've been busy since we last spoke here. So we've been inside the building all around, and we will be back again. We will be lining up additional days to come and survey the existing building. It's a large building and fairly old building, so lots of places to look and inspect while we're designing and continue to design the building. You actually do have some fairly good existing drawings to go off of, so that's a good starting point for us always. But there are, as you know, kind of a few different building levels within the building, so we want to make sure we get all of those verified correctly and able to accommodate those changes in the new design and try to simplify those. One of the other big pieces that has been ongoing, as Mr. Kaufman mentioned, was the site design and zoning. So as you'll see here in a few moments, we've added additional parking. We've increased the site circulation around the building. The additional tennis court is in the plans, as well as field lighting for the practice field and tennis courts. And then a walking and jogging lane has been incorporated across Green Avenue around the practice field. So we'll get into that in a little bit more detail here. Additionally, the building design itself, we've been meeting with the building committee to go through those pieces, and certainly have gotten a lot of good feedback as the design progresses. Similar to the site, we've improved the building circulation. So right now you kind of just have one long corridor in the academic wing. As we add the addition onto the building, we're able to open up more circulation, more corridor space, allow for folks to have more room when they move from class to class. And as well, one of the big things we've heard is outdoor space. So provide safe and secure outdoor space, including green roofs and such within the building design as well. And so as we continue to develop the building design, certainly code and ADA and all of those features are certainly items that we're taking a very close look at. And so some of those things definitely affect the building as we move forward, but all those pieces will be implemented. And then lastly, as we move from kind of the pretty pictures into construction documents, we're developing our building information model, so a BIM model. We'll have a photo here of that here in a second. So just a reminder for everyone, looking at existing Green Ave campus, Green Avenue there to the right, Essex to the north. Where we're adding is to the rear of the building. So the existing main entrance off of Green Avenue and the existing athletic entrance off of Essex. As we build the new addition, that new main entrance will switch and be off of Essex Avenue. And this is in an effort to provide an ADA on-grade entrance to the entire school. And then there will actually be 3 additional on-grade entrances to the west and to the south as part of the new addition. And the historical entrance, as we're calling it, will remain with steps, but there are additional ways into the building on grade and ADA accessible. As we zoom out a little bit, this is one of the features of tonight's presentations. This is your whole property between Green Avenue campus, district administration building, all the way over to North Lansdowne Avenue down to East Greenwood. So as we look to submit for zoning, these are the pieces that we're looking to talk to the zoning hearing board about. To the left-hand side of the image towards North Lansdowne Avenue, you can see we're looking to resurface the tennis courts, add that 5th tennis court, and up to Essex Avenue. We are looking to expand Essex Avenue to provide a drop-off lane for parent drop-off at that new main entry. As we move down towards Green Avenue around the building, you can see we're still maintaining bus drop-off there on Green Avenue. We rotate the parking. So instead of being angled parking, it's head-in parking on Green Avenue. Moving south and around the building towards North Highland Avenue. Again, additional drop-off for buses. A loading dock for the new cafeteria. We'll show you that in a second. And then as we move around the back of the building, additional parking for buses and drop-off area, especially in the morning. We know folks want to get breakfast in the morning. That was one of the principal's big points. So a spot for buses to drop off right by the cafeteria and get in, as well as some of your special needs students that have a particular class that they need to get to. Additional entrances closer to those areas of the building, and then that drive connects back up to Essex so that buses can exit out onto Essex Avenue more easily. Yes.
Orr, excuse me. Would you mind, for those who may not be as familiar, and I know as you stated, you've had plenty of visits to the building. Would you mind just moving your cursor around the area that you're referencing? It may just help orient some people to what you're referencing, please, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely. And just to
so
go back over those real quick. So Essex Avenue, right off of Essex Avenue, this is where the new main entrance will be. So we're increasing the width of Essex Avenue to provide a drop-off lane area for folks to pull off to be able to drop off. Let me go back. As we come around Green Avenue, again, buses will be able to load on Green Avenue. As we come around the back of the building, there's additional Chevron parking for buses. So buses will be able to pull in at the end of the day, stop. Students will be able to load, and then they will all be dismissed at one time in a safe and orderly manner. However, in the morning, buses can queue up here along this whole length, drop off, and then exit the property back onto Essex Avenue there around the back of the building. So yeah, those are the 4 pieces, improving site circulation around Green Avenue High School there. And then the other piece is parking. So one of the big pieces here is there's not much parking here at Green Avenue. So one of the spots that is currently proposed for parking is behind the district administration building. You can see a large faculty parking lot proposed there, which would also be used for events as well. And then the other feature discussed earlier, across from Green Avenue, maintaining the practice field, providing lights, as well as providing a walking, running, jogging path. We know that's an important feature to the school and folks of the community who use the existing track behind Green Avenue as well. So as we zoom in, just want to show you a little closer zoomed in version of what you just saw. So again, Green Avenue campus, Green Avenue High School there in the center. As we add the addition onto the back of the existing building, the new main entrance to the north off of Essex Avenue. We maintain the historic entrance, which has steps up into it currently. And then we also provide 2 additional entrances in the addition. So folks being dropped off in the morning will be able to access directly into the cafeteria, or folks being dropped off will be able to access other areas for specific special needs classes, or again, being able to be dropped off in the morning at the front entrance. So as we look inside the building, here's a very basic floor plan of the existing building. So you have your academic bar right off of Green Avenue with the auditorium in the middle. Behind the auditorium, you have the library, art, special education, and music. And then to the north off of Essex, you have athletics. So right now, there's kind of one long bar of circulation, and we only have 3 small connections back to the rest of the building. So we know that this can get congested. So part of what we're trying to improve here is increase these connections into the new addition. So on 2 floors, you will have these connections back into the addition, as well as the addition will have very large corridors, so larger than your currently existing corridors, which will help when class changes happen. The other pieces of this is trying to keep athletics and physical education all in one area, as well as build the spaces that you don't have. You don't have large science labs, large tech labs, art labs, and properly sized admin spaces as well. So all those spaces being built in the new addition, as well as cafeteria. Right now, that cafeteria being in the lower level is quite small, so we want to provide a large new cafeteria, as well as properly sized kitchen and receiving as well. And again, as part of the athletics piece here, a large gym, a 16,000 square foot gym, which allows your other 2 gyms to become auxiliary gym, and then weight rooms, fitness rooms, wrestling rooms as well. So as we take a look at what this project looks like as we're in 3D, this is the existing facade, Green Ave. So you can see we're not really touching it a whole lot. If we go back and forth, really this facade on the right-hand side there, you can see we're building a new stair tower. We're gonna jazz up the existing auxiliary gym. Right now, it's basically just a brick box. So we're gonna cut some holes into it, get some natural light into it. And then as we come around onto Essex Avenue, you can see a brand new front entry, as well as that large 16,000 square foot gym. So just a few concept renderings here. Again, still developing the design, so I'm sure this will change over time as we present here. Then looking back at the south, looking towards the existing school use. So you can see the bleachers there facing the field. And this is what that new 3-story academic building will look like. You can see the tennis court down there on the left, that added tennis court. Opportunity for outdoor green space for students to come out from their classrooms or from the building to enjoy the outdoors in a secure, safe manner. And then that opportunity for buses to drop off and queue safely in the morning and in the afternoon. As we move into the building, this is that part of the new addition. So the main entry is right behind you. The new main gym and auxiliary gym are right behind you. And straight ahead is the cafeteria. To the left, that's actually looking into the existing library. So you'll see an image here in a few seconds of what that library transforms into. There'll be an opportunity for a learning stair, collaborative learning, right in the heart of the building. So certainly teachers could sign out that space and present, have a class out there, have group working. And then this is that existing library. So the existing library, we're going to open up into business classrooms. So there'll be multiple business classrooms able at the heart of the school again to be a showcase for everyone. Looking down from the commons area, the upper commons. So again, that area with the learning stair, plenty of opportunity for folks to meet and convene and as well as learn. And then this is one of those connections. So this is on the second level, level 2, connecting the addition into the existing school. So you can see nice wide corridors able to make that transition between the 2 buildings. And then once again, large cafeteria, much more accommodating to the amount of students. Again, we started out looking at 1,600 students, and the building committee has come back and said, hey, we really need to look at 2,000 students. So that's what we're looking at right now. And finally, last but not least, this is one image of that construction document software, the BIM information modeling, building information modeling, BIM. So we're well on our way documenting this building, but certainly, things can change as we go through design here. So just want to give you an update on the timeline. Right now, we are in that construction document phase. So we've just finished schematic design, moving into design development. So as we continue to meet with the building committee and move through these approvals, we're going to be looking to bid this at the end of the year. And again, the whole goal is to hit the 2027 to get ninth graders here into Green Ave. So future steps, lots to do. Like I said, still going to be surveying the building, be in the building, taking a look at everything. Approvals, as Mr. Kaufman mentioned, we're heading to the zoning hearing board here at the end of February. And then other approvals, MPDES, which is stormwater and making sure that we're handling the soil correctly. All of those approvals are in process, and we will be continuing to work on those. The building design, as well as meeting with the building committee, we're going to be starting to meet with end users, so teachers, faculty, security, cafeteria staff, all those folks who are going to be in this building every day. We want to hear from them as well. So those are going to be set up here shortly. And then once again, continue to develop those construction documents as we continue to get input from everyone here at the district. And that is all from us. Any questions?
Ryan, I'd just like to thank you for presenting that to the group this evening. Lots of hours of work to prepare this, and working with the schools and all the stakeholders there. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to share that it was pretty impressive. Thank you.
Great, yes, and I would mimic what everyone said. Yes, Mr. Orr, and community members, please be on the lookout for any surveys or potential input when they are sending out. So please make sure you stay abreast with our website, because this is an ongoing process. So again, everything is great, and we really do appreciate this process.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, we're gonna move on to, we have no motions for action. We're going to review of the proposed agenda for the business meeting. For the committee meeting of the whole, let's see. Okay, so I will be reading, oh, Ms. Boykins is the chair for community relations, for the community relations agenda, a One Black History Month proclamation. A2, kindergarten pre-registration for the 2024-2025 school year. A3, Little Shop of Horrors at Penwood High School, and I'll read that one. Penwood High School presents Little Shop of Horrors on February 8th and 9th at 7 p.m. and February 10th at 3 p.m. Tickets are $10 in advance at the link below, or $12 at the door. Please come out and support our talented students. Don't miss the incredible show. And please, again, the link is included, and I'm sure you will also find that on our website. And that concludes our community relations report. Moving on to our education committee agenda, Ms. Valerie Cook Henry is our chair.
Good evening. B1, release and settlement agreement. B2, expulsion waiver agreement. B3, school field trips. B4, Cardinal Point Security Group. And that concludes for education. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cook-Henry. And I'm going to next read the Personnel Committee agenda. Myself, Wadia Ivory, the chair. C1, retirements. We have our support staff, Diane O'Donnell, a teacher at Bell Avenue, effective 10/16/2024. Ms. O'Donnell has been with the district since September 27th, 1999, and we wish you well in your years of retirement, and we appreciate all you have done for our school district. Thank you. C2, resignations. C3, appointments. And I'll just read through those quickly. Kim, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Gouveia, teacher at Penwood High School. Chelsea Jones, teacher at Bell Avenue. Denasia Lynch Matlick, teacher at 9th Grade Academy. Tia Blake, staff nurse at Evans. Anna Ortiz, instructional assistant at Penwood Middle School. We welcome you all to the district. C4, changes in assignment. C5, leaves of absence. C6, mentors. There are none. C7, miscellaneous appointments. C8, tenure awards. There are none. C9, salary track changes. Do not believe any. C10, miscellaneous personnel items. There are none. And C11, modifications to previously approved items. There are none. Additions, C12, additions to the agenda. There are none. And that concludes my report. Moving on to our property committee.
Wait, Miss Ivory,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I had a question back under education. I couldn't get off of mute quick enough.
For the education committee.
Yes. I had asked some questions regarding, also this part of the agenda is not available in the chat to the citizens.
Excuse me 1 second, Ms. Hoff. Mr. Kaufman, did we place this agenda in the board doc section of what's on the website? Because that's typically where individuals can get access to all of the information that we are presenting. So I just want to know, was that done or not done?
Yes, this is currently active in board docs on the
And
website
that, right,
currently.
and that is the place where people can access all of this information. So based upon the date of the meeting, this information is available. So right now, you should be able to get to the committee of the whole agenda, and right now the proposed agenda for the board business meeting next Monday.
So,
Correct.
But if you can't, let us know, and we just want to make sure that it is available for folks. Because we
so
do.
when you go to January 16th, under meetings, it does not let you go any further. When you go under featured and you go to Tuesday, January 16th, it takes you to the agenda. The agenda does not link to this deck or the deck of the high school presentation, nor Ms. Seward's presentation. I know we're hybrid, so it's confusing, but this is not linked from that agenda.
Okay, we'll make sure that we correct that. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I was wondering regarding B4. So are we thinking 2 to 4 people a day for a 7-hour day? How does this get assigned or because I see there's not to exceed $130,000.
So we've been working with the high school, excuse me, for a couple of weeks now, and they've made a request, I believe, for 4 additional individuals to support their efforts. And we are amenable to that. And we are working with them on the actual specifics, meaning the days and the times. And so they're leading those efforts, and we're making sure that we support them with what they need to have happen. So obviously, as you would expect, we want to make sure that we have people there in the morning to greet students, get them into the building. And so we're continuing to work out those logistics with the school. But right now, we're looking at 4 individuals to provide additional support.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Biko.
Yep.
Okay, if there are no additional questions, we're going to continue to our property committee agenda, read by Mr. Jantone.
Thank you, Ms. Ivory. So we have D1 zoning design. This is in reference to Mr. Orr's statement regarding their team going to Lansdowne's zoning board for us. So this is authorizing them to do that. D2 athletic complex change order. This is regarding signs that the district has requested of our vendor to create and install. This is authorizing them to do that work. D3, athletic complex change order number 8. These are additional changes that we have requested, such as some additional gates and security components that need to be included to make sure that we have all of those components cover the entire building. Complex. And those are, again, things that we have requested our vendor to complete, and that is to authorize that work. We have D4, the bond resolution. Again, we are at that time of the year where we're authorizing how to pay for that new high school that we are trying to change our students' world with. So that is what this is for. And finally, we have a food service company contract extension that we are seeking for approval. And that concludes my report.
Jan, I do have a question. So for D5, you're saying we're seeking approval for food service, and it says or motion to solicit requests for proposals for food service management. Is that still what we're looking to vote for next week, to either approve the contract or?
I believe the suggestion is to move to extend, but we could, as a board, choose to solicit a proposal if the board decides to do
Okay.
that.
All right, thank you. Okay, if there are no additional questions, we're going to continue to our Budget and Finance Committee agenda, read by Ms. Jennifer Hoff, our chair.
Thank you. E1 Treasurer's Report. I'm sorry. E2 List of Bills. And was there also a motion for bonds?
That was included in the property committee.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Because it's related to capital. It could have gone in either one, I think, so.
Got it.
Just the
I
time.
was just having a problem following along.
Okay, moving on. Thank you, Ms. Hoff. Continuing to our Policy Committee agenda. Ms. Joanna Hopkins, Chair. I will.
It appears that there is none this month, Ms. Ivory.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. My apologies. It's mushed in with it. Okay, so now moving to our solicitors report. All right. Old business, new business? Our public comments on non-agenda items. Are we doing that one? Public comments for non-agenda items?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
That will be had on Monday though.
All right, so I'll just go through our announcements for our next meeting. Property Committee meeting will be held via Zoom February 6th on Tuesday at 6:30. Policy Committee meeting will be held Thursday, February 8th at 6:30 via Zoom. It says, oh, the next committee meeting of the whole will be held at 6:30 on Tuesday, February 20th at the Administration Building as well as via Zoom. Education Committee meeting will be held 6:30 on Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. Budget and Finance Committee meeting will meet Thursday, February 22nd via Zoom at 6:30, and the next business meeting will be held on Monday, February 26th at the Administration Building Boardroom as well as via Zoom. At this time, we can move to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you next week at our business meeting. Hopefully in person. If not, we will be right here on the camera again. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Please be safe if you are not home.
Take care.
Have a good evening.